Welcome to Energetics with Kim and Veronica, where we invite you to nourish the energy of your inner why, your inner healing, magic, prosperity, your curiosity, clarity, playfulness. Welcome home. Hello, everyone. This is Veronica, and I'm with my gorgeous partner, Kim. Hello, Kim. And we're here for another episode of our Energetics podcast, where we talk about everything inner and how we can play with what is happening inside us to create both a different experience inside and also a different experience outside in our outer reality. And of course, Kim and I have been together for a few decades, and Kim has been in this work since the 90s. And so we have a lot of decades between us. And so we love to share what works, what doesn't work, and all the things in between. And so, Kim, where can folks find you?
All right. So you can go to my website, growingbeyond.com, and that'll give you all the links to my Facebook, which is Kim Coleman, my Instagram, kimcoleman.growingbeyond, all the things.
Amazing.
And what about you, love? Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at the Veronica Rose, Roze. And we also have an energetics_podcast Instagram account, so you can find us there too. So we were thinking about a little topic for today, and we were thinking about talking about romanticizing our lives. Do I have loud background noise?
I love this concept. Oh my God, I love this concept. Yeah, I can hear a little background, but that's okay.
Turn my laundry
life is
off.
like that. Life is noisy. I love this topic. Like even the name of romanticizing the lives that we have now, right? It's about romanticizing what is. And instead of looking, I don't have anything, or I'm not romantic, I don't have it's about like just romanticizing our lives as it is. Just creates such an inner yum. It just does. So you've been playing with this quite a bit.
Yeah, and so the thing with Kim and I is, we pick things up and we play with them and we move on to something else. So this is not a new concept, but often, we, at least for me, I'll go deep with things for a period of time and then I'll switch to something else. And so for the last few months, I've really been challenging myself to romanticize my life as much as I can. And for me, it is appreciation. It is gratitude, but it's much deeper than that. So it's not just about saying, okay, I'm grateful for this and that in my life. It's actually feeling the romance with my life and in the simplest of things. And I've really been playing with the concept of not doing it to get something out of it, really just doing it for the sake of falling in love with my life, but then also noticing how my life starts to blossom in different ways when I do it. And so I think that for me specifically, visuals really help me. And so thinking about so one of our mentors, Melanie Ann Lair, talks about imagining your life as a movie, like a beautiful movie. There's sadness and there's laughter and there's all these things. But if you were watching a movie and somebody was doing something mundane in a movie, there's something really special about it. So going through your life as though every single thing there's a specialness to it. And I've really been playing with that in challenging myself. I have to remind myself, right? Until you get into the habit of it, I personally have to remind myself every day, okay, this is what I'm doing today. I'm going to romanticize it. I'm going into the office, which seems like, how can you romanticize that, right? But it's really looking at all the little things, having my cup of coffee and really romanticizing, use my imagination to generate those feelings of falling in love with that cup of coffee. Or, I've been imagining that every little thing that's coming my way is a gift from God, the universe, Mother Nature, life, whatever that is for you, it's a gift. And so I'm sitting at my office and I'm working and I see the snow falling. And I imagine that is just a beautiful gift for me right now, that my time is limited. And, once I leave this world, I won't have the ability to experience the snow or the rain on my face or, the wind in my hair. And so I use those, imaginative scenarios, if you will, to really activate the depth of what might be happening in every moment. And I do think it's probably different for everybody. I don't think what I utilize would be necessarily be the same thing as anyone else, but it's about finding that access point so that you can activate it within. And what is, how can you romanticize your life? What does romanticizing feel like? And so as I've been playing with it, not only am I really feeling more juiciness and more love and more depth and more joy and more peace and appreciation in my life, but I'm also watching as things blossom, things blossoming in terms of relationships, in terms of finances, in terms of really luxurious experiences that I've been having. And so it's something that we just wanted to just bring forth and riff on, if you will. So just as an invitation for others to maybe consider playing with it.
I love that. And you know what? I'm just going to say it. Um, as you are looking and doing the romanticizing of our lives, that does activate the feel good hormone within our bodies, right? The oxytocin, it just does. And so it is an appreciation, but yet it's also different. So for example, like a lot of people will take a bath, right? Maybe so that could be something that somebody might want to play with and start with. So you're pouring your bath. Well, what if this was a scene from a movie? Right? What might that look like if you were watching a romantic scene from a movie, of someone having a bath? Oh my God, they're lighting the candles, right? And so, yeah, make it as if it was a scene from a movie. So it could be, like I said, a pretty glass of water or wine or whatever it is that you like to enjoy when you're in the tub. Maybe it's none of that, but yeah, just looking at romanticizing our own lives as if it was a scene from a movie. I love that. I forgot about that. So thank you for reminding me about that, Veronica, because yeah, so like you took it and you're like, yeah, I'm going to play with this one thing right now. And I'm sure it's not just one thing. I'm sure it's others as well. Um, but yeah, I just love that you're reminding me of that. And yeah, you're awesome at doing. I'm just going to play with this one thing right now. Like I'm a student of the gene keys, right? And so we're encouraged to do to take one key and deep dive into that one key. You can't look at that whole chart. You can't look at all of life. Am I cutting in and out?
No, you sound good. For me, you're good.
Because your screen is frozen for those who are listening. Okay, cool. Um, so yeah, so it's about, just even starting with one thing, right? Like for me to think I could even start with learning my entire hologenetic profile all at the same time. Oh my Lord. Right? So even if we were to just, oh,
We lost Kim, but we're back.
we're
Continue.
back. We're back. Okay, so anyway, yeah. So what are some other things, like how have you been, like some examples of what does Veronica's romanticizing her life look like?
So another example, so I talked about the snow falling, right? And I've really imagined that life is almost like a being, is like an entity, and it's gifting me in every moment. And sometimes the gift doesn't feel like it's something good, and sometimes it does. But a lot of times, even when it does feel good, it's our mind is racing and easily rushes to the next thing. So another way that I've been really practicing it was like with my daughter. My daughter and I have a really beautiful relationship, but I notice that there's moments where we're like cuddling and laughing, and it's easy for me in my mind to want to go to the next thing. What are we going to do? And we're, thinking about this or thinking about that. And I'm really challenging myself to just be with the giggles, like just be with her giggles, and imagine like there's going to be a time in my life where those giggles aren't there in the same way. And so just as if it's a movie and you're hearing a child's giggles and it's like cracking you open, I really like lean into the depth of it and really, it's not just oh, thank you for the giggles. It's also like really feeling the romanticism of it, like the beauty and the depth. It's something that you have to find on your own. And there's
It
different ways
is.
to access it, but it's not. I don't think it's the same path for everyone, which is why we kind of have these blanket, the gratitude journals, or the kind of the blanket tools that we can put out there as ways to start to access it. But when you really get to the depth of it, everyone, I think, has to find their own way. And for me, I need a frame of reference in my mind to really help me get there. So imagining, life as this beautiful being, this entity that's gifting me in every moment, imagining that my life is a movie, imagining that, there's, even thinking about the fact that there's an end to my life. There's an end to the number of breaths that I'm going to have. There's an end to the number of days that I'm going to live. And so really challenging myself to think about that for a moment and think about, wow, like, there's only so many more times I'm going to speak. There's only, right. And so can I, as often as I can, think about, like, when I wake up in the morning, okay, like, I am not going to wake up every single day for the rest of eternity. And so can I appreciate that? And can I actually feel the appreciation, not just think it, but actually feel it and activate that? And when you get there, it takes practice. Sometimes it takes reworking your mind. It takes reworking your feelings. It takes a bit of time, but once you can activate it, you can feel the opening and the release in your body. And not only do you start walking through life differently, but things start to change in your life, and things come to you in bigger, deeper, more profound, more luxurious, more luscious ways than they had prior.
Awesome. So the scene from a movie thing is what sticks out for me, right? Um, and so yeah, so what can we so I'm just curious, and this is kind of like a question for myself and also just something for others to be with and play with. What are some things that we could do in our daily lives that as we do them, if you were to imagine it as a scene from a movie, how would you write that? Right? And so again, it's like, you could take a bath or you can take a bath, right? Um, and it is different than gratitude. Like I can jump in a regular bathtub and be grateful for it all. But I can also, like I said, make it like a scene from a movie where all the things, like make it as sensual and as all of it as I want to. One of the things that I do with another collaborator in person sessions, we call them the Oracle sessions, is when they walk into the house in the this time of year, they're indoors. In the summer, they're outdoors. They are walking in on a bed of rose petals, real fresh rose petals, right? So we've added. It's like a luxury. It's romanticizing even them walking in the door, and the trail goes right up to the table, like right up to the massage table that they lay in. So even bringing that bit of uh, romanticism, if you will, or luxury. I love that word, romanticizing your life as if it were a scene from a movie. That can be as simple as that for me, those words and that reminder. I love that. Thank you. And so you also have been on some ooh la 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 trips. So you're, excuse me, so you're romanticizing your life in your 9 to 5 and your daily, sorry, not days not over after 9 to 5, that's your job. And you do it there too. Hang on. Uh, however, so you do it, you've been practicing this in your regular life as well as while you're away. But it doesn't have to be just while we're away.
For sure. But also the other thing that I've really been contemplating. So I had two really beautiful and magical trips. I went to Nicaragua with a really close girlfriend at the beginning of, about a month ago. And it was just, the whole thing was so luxurious. Everything about it was beautiful. The weather was perfect. We were on this small little island. Everything about it, the room we stayed in, everything was just perfect and glorious. And then I just came back from a trip to the Middle East for a wedding, and it was the same thing, completely different trip, but everything was so magical and beautiful and luxurious. And I was really thinking about how my play of romanticizing my life leading up to those trips, how much did that actually create this beauty and luxury that I ended up experiencing in a bigger way, right? Because you can go on a big trip like that and it could be full of trials and tribulations and things are not quite what you want, even though you're, spending money and you're going away somewhere nice. It might not still be that experience. And so I've really been contemplating how the two are linked, right? Like everything was just magical. And this place, we went to Oman in the Middle East, and it was enchanting. And I just think about how this romanticizing of my life created this. It created this experience. And so there's like the expansion and the contraction in life, right? Things get big, you go on a big trip or something big happens, and then you come back, and then there's the contraction in your daily life. And when you can experience both of those in the romanticism, it's like that's where the real magic in life happens. And so I do believe that they're completely linked. I don't, I think, yes, I could have gone on those trips and, it could have been okay, or it could have been like good mixed with bad, but both of them were just magical. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the months leading up to them, I was doing this deep dive into this romanticizing. So yeah, so that's what I'm, and I'm going to continue to explore and see where it goes. But there's something to it. And it's not always easy. Like when we're living through the framework of feeling like, and we've talked about this in a lot of our episodes, feeling like we're the victim of life or the receiver of life. We're not the ones that are consciously creating it. And, we hear so much about the ability to create lives, their ability to manifest. And I really think that this is where the magic is. This is where we really truly become the artist of our lives, is just in the day to day, in the simple things, in the smallest of things, in the pillow that we're lying our head on and the blankets we're pulling up as we go to bed, as we watch the sunrise, as we watch the moon rise, it's if we can fall in love with those simple things, if we can romanticize those simple things, not only do our lives become so peaceful and beautiful, but also the bigger things start to come. And we don't do it for the bigger things, but naturally they evolve because we're ready for them.
I love that. Yeah, you know what? When our mentor that you mentioned earlier, Melanie and Layer, first mentioned it, see your life, romanticize your life as if it's a scene from a movie. Uh, I was doing that for a while. It was like even just, having my cup of coffee, and then I forgot about it, like something, whatever, right? But yeah, I thanks for the reminder. So for me, it's like even opening up my cupboard to see what mug I'm going to use. I'm a mugaholic, so I like really pretty mugs. I like to be able to go, oh my God, look at that. That is so beautiful. So it's not just a cup of coffee. It's a cup of coffee in a mug that I love, right? And yeah.
So we really, we always love to invite folks and invite everyone who's listening to consider, to ponder, to contemplate, to get curious about how you can apply this into your life if it feels like a fit for you. And so really looking for the framework that might work for you, losing your imagination if it's that dance with life as an entity, as a being, as I mentioned, if it's the romanticizing through imagining that your life's a movie or whatever that might be. Think about getting deeper than just the appreciation and gratitude, and really think about romanticizing. What does it feel like to be in a romantic relationship, to be in the throes of love, of passion, of romance, and how can you really bring that into the everyday experiences of your life? And see what happens from there. And if sometimes there's things that are preventing us from being able to access that. So inviting you to, Kim and I are open for work with individuals. If you would like to consider having some support, we do a two-on-one healing coaching package where we can help lead you through that, because sometimes we have some past trauma or whatnot that might be preventing us from truly experiencing that. So thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate it. We would love for you to share if you think that this conversation might be beneficial. If you have any questions, reach out to us on Instagram or wherever, and like, share, subscribe, all the things that really helps us out. So we appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. And until the
Yay,
next
thank
episode,
you.
much love.